Hi everybody, it's Joni Young here. Welcome back to my channel for another acrylic painting tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a black and white portrait or figure of a lady running towards the distance with a flowing dress. And we're going to make this one really dramatic and create quite a mood. So let's go ahead and get started with the canvas I'm using. I pre-painted an older 16 by 20 canvas with some black, and I just used some craft thin black paint that I have here lying around in my studio. It's matte and I applied 2 coats, let it dry. And I've also got some titanium white by Liquitex Basics acrylics right here. I'm going to be using a few brushes. The first one will be this 20 flat. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to start with getting my brush a little bit wet. And I'm going to create a really simple outline figure 8 first for our figure. And if you haven't seen my easy steps to painting figures, I break it down into simple shapes and just a few steps. I'll link that video below because it's really helpful for you guys if you want to incorporate more people, portraits, and figures into your paintings. So I'm just going to take a little bit of white with a bit of water on my brush. Just gonna thin that out. And I'm just gonna add a simple figure 8 like this. And then I'll come up with the neck, arms looping around here from the shoulders. These are the shoulders. And then we'll have the head, her head right here. And then what we're gonna do is take a little bit more white, a little bit more water, and we're just gonna scoop this down, and we're gonna create a few little frills like that, and just make the fabric look kind of roughly around her arms and shoulder area. Then we're gonna bring this in, scoop the sides, and then we're going to come around, have the fabric kind of bunched up here where she's holding on to it. And then we're going to start to add lines and create these little kind of rounded layers for her fabric on her dress. I'm going to gently pull up and thin some of that paint out, just starting to make it look transparent. Take a little bit more of the white paint, and we're going to come in and start to outline and add a few more little ruffles. And that neat pattern is happening because my brush is starting to split apart. So that's just creating, it's just kind of a bonus when that happens. It creates a lot more separate lines. So I'm going to make some of these areas a little brighter now. We're not going to see her hands, we're just going to see the fabric bunched up here. I'm going to continue to add a little bit more paint. And just make it look like all this fabric is just blowing. I'm gently going to sweep off with a clean and damp brush some of these areas. So we're going to gradually start to bring some layers up here. I have her hair kind of blowing around. Outline her arms. Take a little bit of water. We're going to pull in. We're going to loosen off some of this paint. I have a few lines in there to create some folds in her fabric. Just don't want anything too solid looking. So wherever we have a little slope or scoop that goes out and up like this, the fabric will be raised and we'll get a little bit more light on it that's catching it. So you can easily just create them by just adding little sweeps like that. And then again, where it goes up is light, in, so down, scoop, the shadows in between. Thin your paint out a little bit with some water when you need to. Now we're going to create a few little scoops for some folds here in the fabric, so it looks like it's bunched and she's gathering it. It's just really fun to build up the layers. And create that movement so easily. This would be the same technique for waves in the water, flower petals. So we'll just pick up the fabric a little bit here and here and bring it up a little bit higher. Add a little bit more highlights to her hair. Okay, now what we're going to do is just take a little bit more white and we're going to just outline and create a glowing light around her. And we're just going to pull and sweep out. So we create these sort of beams of light. And we'll continue on the top here. And a little bit off to the right. I'm going to come inside here. So what I'm going to do is just go right over her arm, and then I'll remove the paint off of her arm. And we'll do the same thing here. Take that paint off of her arm again on this side. And then I'm going to remove some of the white paint so we can see more of the locks of her hair. So see how dramatic it is to work in just white paint on a black canvas, just by removing some of the white paint. You're exposing the black canvas and creating instant shadows. You can make it as bright and dramatic as you want, if you want more contrast. I'm gonna make some of these a little longer. A little longer and a little brighter. I'll bring a few over top of the dress that comes out here. Okay, the next brush I'm going to be using is my 1/4 inch dagger brush. I'm going to take a little bit of white paint just on the end of it. I'm not going to use any water, and I'm just going to start to create an even brighter outline. So just straight white paint only. And I like this little dagger brush because it's easier to control. I've got these nice bristles that stay tight together, and it's very thin and pointy as well if I want. And then if I want to use extra width, I can just use the full width of the brush. I'm going to start to just come in with some brighter highlights here on part of her hair. I'm just going to add a little bit of water and soften some of these harsher edges. And choose a few spots to make a little bit brighter. So right here, and go up and over, and then pull and sweep. This one here as well, up and over, pull and sweep. Here as well. I'm going to take a little bit of my black paint and just apply it. And this is Mars Black that I'm using, just the tiniest bit. I'm just going to apply it right in the middle, so we still have a little bit of grayscale towards the outer edges, and then getting us to fading it to the bright white. I'm going to just come underneath here and add a few extra shadows right underneath these little curves. And I'm going to go down the buttons, down her back here. I'm going to shade in here a little bit with the black as well. Okay, and then I'm going to come in, just add these wavy ripples. And then I'm going to come right under here, add the darkest shadow. See, I'm using this black instead of the original black that I used to prime my canvas with, because this is a different shade. It's much, much darker. The background is a little bit warmer. It's softer and lighter and a little warmer. The next brush I'm going to be using is my number 3 round brush, and I'm going to add a few little butterflies and sparkles, kind of coming out of her hair like this, and then kind of coming down here. So we create sort of a shape like this and movement. I'm going to take a little bit of water on my brush just to loosen those bristles and add a little dot here, 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 and here. We're going to go and paint a little rounded triangle like that, and then we're going to come down here and add a smaller one. Add a little line for the body, or you can add the body first and then add your little triangle. Rinsing my brush out. We're going to soften some of this paint and just take a little bit off in some spots so it looks a little chalky, milky, powdery, kind of like how the rest of the lighting and transparency looks in the painting. Okay, and then I'll add just a little line here. I'll add a little triangle on each side. we'll have all 4 of the wings visible. And then we'll do the same, just come inside and soften. You can remove some, you can blend it around, take a little bit extra, and add an outline. So I'm going to thin my paint out with more water this time. It'll dry a little bit duller than this. Gonna add a few little dots and stars here. Add a little bit of a hazy glow to them. So if your brush is a little bit on the drier side, you can create this effect. And if that doesn't work, try adding a little bit of water and a little bit more paint. And then I'm going to just come in here and tap and dab, bright little glowing centers. I'm going to take my toothbrush, get it just a little bit wet, and then add some white. And I'm going to spray some sparkle in here. And a little bit in here as well. I'm just going to take a little bit more water. This may give me some different sizes of little sprays. See, a little bit bigger. Okay, this painting's all done. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and learned a lot. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more. Wishing you guys all the best. Take care, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye!